Alright, hello gamers. Welcome to Sonic Adventure. My name is Witherman. I'm joined here by the phenomenal Squeefy. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing good. It is currently 8 o'clock in the morning and I haven't slept, so let's go. What best way to start with the good old Sonic Adventure?
Well, we're going to have plenty of time to talk in the intro here, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready. Time is going to start. We could just go ahead and start it on a count of 3. We're going to go ahead and get this introduction started in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's get down. Sonic Adventure is, as most of you may know, Sonic's first non-isometric, sort of, really first 3D game in the series. You could throw a bunch of different things into that. You could say your Sonic R's, you could say your Sonic 3D Blast, but this is Sonic's first true mainline real 3D platformer. And as such, they wanted to focus a lot on the story. We're going to see a lot of the story. A lot of it.
So if there's any time to get donations, then this is probably the game to do, because there's going to be quite a bit.
Sonic Adventure is notorious for having unskippable cutscenes, but beyond having unskippable cutscenes, as of the year 2022, because of this wonderful lad with me right now, Squeefy, we've discovered skippable cutscenes.
The game has completely changed because of them from one accident.
From one freak little accident and putting 2 and 2 together for the first time in years, we found skippable cutscenes. Our first one of those will be coming up after Emerald Coast, but let's not jump too far ahead of ourselves. What's your history with Sonic Adventure, Squeefy? We've done this a few times. Been around the bloke.
We have been around the bloke. I remember I'm pretty sure there's a kiosk in a McDonald's with a Dreamcast. That was the first time I played it for like one stage in Emerald Coast. And then eventually when it got released on DX, that's when I started actually playing it.
It's funny how that happens. I wonder if there are any Sonic Adventure runners, like people who run Sonic Adventure 1998, that didn't play DX first. I think most of us started with DX.
Yeah, most of us did. I played Sonic Adventure for like maybe half an hour at McDonald's once, and that was it. That was my only experience with it. I'm pretty sure the Dreamcast actually got stolen, but different story. And then DX was kind of where I started. But hey, look at that, there's a game happening. Oh. Chaos Zero's a cool boss. This is where we heavily manipulate it into just kind of dying for us. But I've got another cutscene coming up, so I'm kind of curious, where's your history coming from with Sonic Adventure?
Marathon. Every marathon I've done so far, I always miss the third hit on Chaos Zero. That was the least bad third hit I've had though. So let's go.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Good question. Where does my history with Adventure come from? So, I believe it was Easter 2004. For whatever reason, my parents on Easter gave me both a copy of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube. And when I was a little kid, I really, really liked Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure was a game I played through a few times. I liked it a lot, but I didn't quite like it as much as Sonic Adventure 2. Then I guess one day I grew up and grew some taste. So
wow. Okay.
Sonic Adventure 2 has definitely taken a back burner for me in recent years. And Sonic Adventure DX quickly became my favorite game of all time next to Billy Hatcher. And then SA1 in specific, with Sonic Adventure. My history with this game starts in like 2019.
Yeah. Wait, really? That doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started running Sonic Adventure in like 2022.
Yeah.
But like my first time I ever played Sonic Adventure, like on the Dreamcast, was in 2019. Because I just bought a Dreamcast out of nostalgia. Because I had one, I just didn't have Sonic Adventure on it. Oh!
Wow. RNG manipulation. That's what that is, with manipulating RNG. But I guess, there's a game happening. This is Emerald Coast. Emma doesn't have a lot. I'm going to jump over here. Also, I think we're going to quickly try and explain some movement mechanics. What he's doing right now, he's doing what's called a task dash, which is by alternating the two spin dash buttons, X and B, you actually go faster. But Sonic's fastest movement is the initial release of a spin dash. I have an echo? Apparently I have an echo. I don't know if I do. I'm not gonna check. Awesome. Yeah, task dash is basically you hold down. The initial release of a spin dash is Sonic's fastest movement, so we want to keep doing that over and over and over again. But you have to charge up the initial one to get to max speed. So we can do that all over the place, and then also the spin dash jumps, which are so self-explanatory. And then another thing called a spin dash hover, which is where you hold your horizontal momentum by holding down the A button to hold your hover. And I do have an echo. Is there anything I can do about that? I don't know if I can.
I could check on my end of the
Okay, got this. Wait until like Egg Hornet, I guess. Oh no.
I'm so sad.
No. Emerald Coast claims another.
Yeah, Emerald Coast is unironically the hardest stage in the game.
Definitely. It's like it's one of those stages where I feel like when you first start out, it doesn't seem that bad, but then later on, so much goes wrong. So much goes wrong with this stage. This is a run killer, and this is the beginning of the game. By the way, this is the first stage. This is a run killer. I'm not even out yet. Alright, this is gonna be a second
World
run.
record holder of the game, by the way.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it.
Listen, man. Emerald Coast is hard.
It is. It really is. It looks so deceptively easy, but then when you add in all the stuff we're doing to try and, get through it quick, it becomes a really difficult stage.
Alright, so what do you want to hear? Do you want to hear a really cool drum solo or a really cool guitar solo?
I think I've heard the guitar solo.
Okay. I got drums.
Drums are still good though. We appreciate the drums. Yeah, and that's a cutscene skip, which is older than the ones that we've found since. That's just one that's been known for a while with soft resetting. Because it just saves during that cutscene. And then when we go back in, the cutscene is over, because it goes, oh, you started the cutscene, it must be over. So like, okay, cool, just proceed.
Yeah, this is the most cutscene skip-heavy part of the run, where we actually do 2 of them back-to-back before gameplay.
Yeah.
The only other time we do that is after Sky Chase 1.
Which one is Sky Chase 1?
So the Amy cutscene reset, followed by Canada clip.
Oh yeah.
Or if you're on US, you can also reset for the Krang too.
You can.
Whoa.
Yeah, we need to take an angle jump over here. That look good. And if we give it a second,
Shut up.
it will fade. Yay, let's go. But yeah, okay, so let's explain what just happened there. When Sonic enters the cutscene, or any character enters the cutscene, there's a small brief period of time where the character you were originally playing as is still active. So you can die, and that will respawn the character, and the game kind of goes, well, we shouldn't have died. The cutscene kind of just cancels out, basically. Because every cutscene happens in-game. So the game just goes, I guess it happened. I guess it played. And there you go. It just ends. And there's a few places we're going to use that for, a couple more coming up, hopefully. Yeah, to say they've changed the game a lot is kind of an understatement, because the game went from being Sad Eggs with cutscenes to Sonic Adventure 1 with all these awesome cutscene skips, which are, actually difficult to do.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure as a game has dramatically changed. As we found out more about the game, it's really started to break open and become its own thing. Like now, Sonic Adventure has a pretty different route. Like, because of our cutscene skips, we think of the game very differently. Life management matters a lot more. For a character like Sonic, part of the reason we've implemented so many soft resets, even if they don't typically save time RTA or they're pretty dangerous to do, we kind of have to do them because soft resetting gives us 4 lives. which we absolutely need for some cutscene skips. This also makes the most optimal route of the game significantly more punishing, because dying in this game is already dramatically slow. You lose oodles of time that you don't lose in statics from just the game taking forever to fade out, forever to fade in. So you lose like 20 seconds per death anyway. And then on top of that, you also lose a life, which you might actually need to do a cutscene skip, because doing cutscene skips means dying. Dying means taking a life. And if you game over in the hub world, the game gets so confused. So you really want to make sure that you don't game over in the hub world. It's probably a safer bet to just take the cutscene at that point, but you're talking minutes of time loss for every cutscene you're forced to take.
Like, they're very long. Like, some cutscenes aren't as long, so it's not, the risk versus reward isn't as big, but then you get some that are so long, it's like, you kind of have to go for it. But then when you do hit them, that's now your PB, good luck beating it.
True.
Shout out to Disney Fast Pass, we'll get to that one.
I see Underground pointed out in chat, the main person to say it. I did the Tails one cycle for Sonic, for Egg Hornet.
Yeah, I know. I'll go and see if anyone else noticed. Yeah, I'm gonna grab this item here. Gonna go forget the Windy Valley. Windy Valley's like Windy Valley's changed a lot, but a lot of what we do in Windy Valley is very similar to Sad X. Other than some clips just not existing. Which is another thing you notice, a lot of clips don't exist in the game. This game is very solidly put together. Like, this game loves invisible walls.
While Static is kind of known for being a game where you can just walk through the walls, SA1 is a game that is rock solid. Anytime a clip is found in this game, it's actually a monumental discovery, because this game is so well put together.
But like, to basically put it into context, with Static it's like, oh, there's a wall there, I'm just gonna walk through it. With this game, there's a wall there, but it's probably like 3 more behind it, and a push force wall just for safety. Like, this game does not want you to go, and also it will check which side of the wall you're on. Every wall has a sort of like inside-outside thing, so if you're on the inside of it, it goes, you're not supposed to be here, and it'll push right if you touch the wall. There is ways around that, which I don't think we'll use in this run.
What is going on, man?
What is going on?
I'm pressing the A button. Where's my frame?
What's your estimate again?
Jeez.
Yeah, that was a trick called trampoline skip, where you go, if you hit the number panels in a ball form, when you hit the last one, you can homing attack, because with Sonic, anytime he's in the air in a ball form and he hasn't done a homing attack, he can do a homing attack, regardless of what he entered the ball form. Anyway, Windy Valley, we're gonna jump off here, get Gravity Cube, not that one.
This is very funny. So, I did a bunch of practice earlier today, before, like, honestly, like, right before I was up to do the run.
Oh yeah.
And I was feeling really confident. And
Right.
now, that's kind of gone. Never mind, I'm the GOAT.
But yeah, Windy Valley skip is where you get a Gravity Cube, and then you simply just avoid a couple kill planes. To explain the Gravity Cube, once you go above a certain speed threshold, the game pulls you down basically towards sort of Sonic's feet, that sort of direction. And it just continues pulling you, because it thinks, it expects you to be in like a loop or something. That's how loops work. Like, this game doesn't really do automation, it's more of, here's a dash pad in front of a loop to give you the speed to go around the loop. So we can manipulate that in situations like Windy Valley. Which looks cool as hell. Also, it's not just Sonic, like the other characters can do it, it's just Sonic seems to just have more use for it. So yeah, we're gonna go through here. Windy Valley went somewhere, I guess. But next up...
Yeah, another route of Windy Valley. It's time for some Hub World.
Some Hub World, yay.
Hub World's so cool.
It's so underrated. Like, seriously, you can separate top level runners from mid level runners just by the Hub World movement. Like, the hub is so important in this game. It's like, yeah, it may not seem like a lot. Like, he's probably gonna be done here in like 30 seconds maybe. But like, it's so important to get your Hub World down.
Yeah, I fully agree. Hub World movement is what separates a low-level runner from a mid-level runner, for the most part, and definitely mid-level from high level, and certainly high from top.
Yeah,
The
100%.
hub world is a extremely overlooked aspect of the game. Whenever you're looking to get into speedrunning, you're typically thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do some ILs, oh, I'm gonna do some levels I really like. But for full game run, you can be really good at every level, and you could still get like a time that you weren't expecting to get in like a negative way. You know, like you'd be a lot off base compared to some top runners. And you're like, where'd I lose all that time? And the answer is doing what I just did in the sewers.
Yeah. Like, you could IO every stage and get, like, some of the, like, top 5, top 3 times right. Like, 100% of the time. But if your hub world movement doesn't match up to that, it's not really going to matter in the long run anyway. So you really need hub world to, like, make up for it and, you know... But, like, yeah. It's what we're at. And that was the FTB, which I'm not entirely sure if we can say the real name of it. But, you know...
Yeah, we cannot say the name of that trick, but we can say the acronym. FTB is awesome.
We love FTB.
It
so
allows
cool.
us to skip the casino button, which we were talking about that hub world. Actually, but the hub world optimization that is only in the Japanese Dreamcast version of the game. And that was Casinopolis, by the way.
That was a clean Casinopolis. Damn.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Casinopolis, you simply jump up, go above the wall he clipped through, doesn't exist. It's just not there. There's a texture there, but the actual wall is just not there. So you can just spin that for it, so, you know, it's not something you need to worry about being precise, which is good.
I promise you that this game is very well put together, despite the fact that I just walk through 2 walls like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah. It's like, whenever you clip through a wall like that, it's not because you clipped through the wall, it's because the wall didn't exist. Or there's just a Sonic-sized hole in it. Hole. No word. Hole. Sorry.
And while that does show up more in Static, such as in Final Egg, where you just kind of walk through a couple walls, especially in Act 2 and 3, in SA1, how many texture walls do we actually go through? 2?
There's Casinopolis. What was the other one?
The other one is Lost World.
Oh, yeah. Banana Route, yeah. Yeah, like, it's not that often.
No, not Banana Route. I guess Banana Route in 3. I'm talking about with the giant blue snake.
1個は奪われたけど
Oh, wait,
Or
yeah.
not giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go through the wall.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean now,
必死で
yeah.
な
Didn't think about that one, to be honest.
Oh, Canada Clip.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Canada Clip's interesting. Is I actually wouldn't consider that one of these cases, despite it kind of being one. So we haven't actually described Canada Clip yet, but it is something I am petrified of, even now. I guess petrified. I've been turned to stone. But
The guy that did it in a CX run,
It's-
just randomly.
I am terrified of it, thinking about it in the future. But Canada Clip is a really difficult spin dash up a building with a really specific angle for a really specific height. Because, there's a lot of moving parts for Canada Clip. So what you have to do is you have to get high enough to clip through the building, because almost all of it is solid. But you can't go too high, because if you go too high, the camera spins so fast, you actually aren't allowed to have any analog input. So you're just stuck in place. So, despite how it looks, comparing to a lot of the other ones where you just walk through a texture, it actually is a clip. Because there is a giant wall we're going over, but it's not the same kind of clip as anything else, really. There's really nothing like it. It's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff with, say, Lost World and Casinopolis, it's literally just we kind of just walk through the wall. You know, just take a very short jump to get over it. Canada Clip is a whole process. That I think only, I think it's you and Broby, the only people I know that actually do it.
Goob does it.
Really? Oh, yeah, because he found, a weird setup for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've been messing with, it actually seems to work pretty decently.
Yeah, it does.
So, I might try opening that. Anyways, third try. Yeah, I think pretty good. Anyway.
Yeah, speaking of Goob, we recently found out that 5 years ago, this clip was discovered by Goob's Gabe, therefore it's been renamed GigaChad Clip. GigaChad Clip allows us to clip through the cave in Ice Cap Act 3.
And then
It's quite awesome.
it is, and we just fall through the stage. It's not. We can't fall exactly forward. We do have to sort of time it and stop for a second to check for where we are on the stage, readjust, and then land. Because it is possible to miss the stage, and there is a couple kill planes around here. But with the set we have, they're very easy to avoid. If you're daring,
While there is a theoretically faster way to go, the way that I take is definitely the safest.
So the theoretically faster way is to simply just commit to holding forward, but the way Dreamcast works is you can't really hold straight forward without the controls are wiggling a bit. So it's just not really worth it. So, you know, you're usually better off just to take it a bit safe. You lose like 3 seconds maybe, if even that. Like, it's really not much time, it's fine. But anyways, so Wibble, what's your favourite type of fruit? Honestly, I'm a pretty big fan of raisins. Got any raisin fans?
Raisins aren't a fruit.
Yeah, they are. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they're made of fruit, but
Yeah.
they're not fruits themselves.
They're made of fruit. They're a fruit. What's a fruit?
No.
What you mean? What's a fruit salad then? That's a fruit.
Oh yeah, apple pies. Those are fruits.
Exactly. See, my man knows. My guy knows. You had your 5 a day? Yeah.
You're right. You know, raisins gotta be a top 3 fruit.
Hey,
顔攻められ
love
る
this
ぞ
fruit. Yeah, that was another cutscene skip there. We just picked through all that. It's called Raisin Launch.
エッグマン
So we just fall through. And that one actually works with every character.
わしの口車に乗りおって
Yeah, Raisin Launch, that clip out that we just did, works with every character, but is only really important for Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. All 3 of which interact with each other right here in this very silly altercation, where Eggman just so happened, or not Eggman, Sonic just so happened to get a green emerald from Ice Cap, and Knuckles just got gaslit into thinking that Sonic was after the Master Emerald. So Knuckles put 2 and 2 together and just assumed that he had a very strangely Chaos Emerald shaped shard of the Master Emerald, and he went to beat him up.
Instead of just going, hey, what is that? Ask the guy. And you know, Eggman just kind of chilling down the drained lake, I guess. Just kind of hiding in the
Yeah,
pond.
Eggman just kind of, he's just sitting in the pond waiting. He's like, oh,
Oh.
I know those idiots are going to come to the main hub world.
But they've got to come through here eventually.
Well, I'm very honored to have this run on the channel where the worst pun I've ever seen was posted in the chat. Call me a lucrative dried fruit, the way my money be raised. My life has changed today. For the worse or better, who knows?
Who knows? Anyways. Who likes auto-scrollers? Here's Chaos 4.
Let's see. Do we have regular human luck or wither luck? That sounds like wither luck.
That
Let me
sounds
turn
like
around.
Oh,
Wow, that's
no.
a wave.
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, man. That's 10 seconds saved on my average.
We're looking good. How will the second one go? He's always kind of it.
Chaos 4 has the... Wow, double wave! Chaos 4 has the opportunity to use an attack where he splits into orbs called the Blue Balls attack. And every time he does that, you lose upwards of 12, but typically 10 seconds. It sucks.
It really
I
does.
am comically unlucky.
To the point where anytime someone gets double blue balls, we call it wither luck. That's how
It
often
sure
it happens.
Somehow, over the course of, I believe I measured it to be around 450 runs, I had gotten double blue balled like 360 something times,
That's
which is lower odds than that's like lower odds than winning the jackpot it's lower odds than winning the jackpot on a scratch off ticket 4 times.
Yep. Sounds about right. But hey, at least it didn't happen here. So we're okay.
I'm so used to the timer getting up to 40, I forgot I hit him now.
Oh.
What do you think about the pre-rendered cutscenes? I think they look really good in this game.
I do too. I'm a pretty big
I'd
fan
like
of
to
them.
see one.
I know, that'd be cool.
How'd we get here?
I don't know. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think I saw a cloud. I will treasure that cloud for the rest of my life.
Strife?
Drive? Yep, sure. I will treasure that cloud too. I've never played Final Fantasy 7 in my life. I will treasure that cloud though.
Silly Squeefy. Bleamcast never released Final Fantasy VII.
It's true, that's why I never played it.
キャリアまだまだカオスの力はこんなものではない
Yep.
いずれ
That's
再び曖
a
昧に
recent find? Which, for Sonic, is not... It says about, was it 7 seconds max?
It saves 7 seconds
Yeah.
load remove time,
Yeah,
but as
but-
far as like RTA, it kind of loses time
Yeah.
depending on how slow your Dreamcast is. And my Dreamcast is, it's a lemon. I shudder to think what my load times would be like in Sonic Shuffle.
Oof. Yeah, that game... Tried playing that the other day for a drinking game. The load times were terrible.
For a drinking game? Did you have friends with you?
Yeah, I did it with my sister's birthday. It was like, we did a thing.
I was gonna say, how sad could you be if you were sitting alone playing Sonic Shuffle as a drinking
Yeah,
game
no, I'm just
by
sat there with
yourself?
four controllers, just as like a keyboard. Gonna get it? Oof. Okay, this is a actually really hard trick to do. Probably one of the hardest cutscene skips Sonic has. Let's see. That looks
Nice.
nice.
Hopefully that works. Last time I got it like that, it didn't work.
That looked good though. That's the thing.
It
Let's
did work.
go.
Goodness gracious.
That really is one of the hardest. Like this split went from being one where we joke about this one being like, oh, here's the hardest trick to, oh, Disney Fast Pass.
Yeah, Disney Fast Pass, which is the name of
Not
that
gonna-
trick,
not gonna move? Okay,
is
okay.
obnoxiously difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a degree of randomness to it just because of how the execution plays out
Mm-hmm.
that really makes the mid-game frustrating.
Yes.
Because think about this, right? Right after you get done with Casino, like right after you're done with like Ice Cap, which is already a pretty difficult split because of how really difficult the clip can be and how inconsistent you can be at it.
Mm-hmm.
You then immediately have to move on to Chaos 4, which is another place where you can
Yeah.
just lose 20 seconds outside your control. And then immediately after Chaos 4, you have Disney Fast Pass, which is so obnoxiously difficult, it's basically luck-based. And then immediately after that, you're rewarded with Sky Chase. And once you're done with Sky Chase, you're back in the cutscene dimension.
Yep.
The mid-game for Sonic is a mental challenge for everybody. I would say at this point my mental for this game is fantastic. Like, I think that I've got overall a very strong mentality and I'm willing to take a lot of punches this game can give me. But I gotta say, even I, after like 7 hours of getting stun locked in the mid-game, where Disney Fast Pass just will not work, then Twinkle Park, I get unlucky in Twinkle Park and I'm back to the beginning. Even I can break from that. It's so grueling.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's such a... It's just a difficult part just to stick right in the middle of the game. Like, obviously it's not really intended for it to be that difficult, but, you know... Everything's been found over the years and over the time, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of what we're at.
Yeah, cutscene skips were such a blessing for the game.
But they're
They
also-
did so much. They did so much to
Mhm.
make the game have its own identity. But holy crap, did they add a whole new degree of difficulty to it?
Yeah,
If
100%.
you are used to how Sonic Adventure DX feels, this game, Sonic has a slightly lower top speed. Sonic also doesn't jump as high. He has less hover frames, which means that he's not able to cross the same distances he can cross in DX. Which means that a lot of the super tight jumps you need to make for the cutscene skips are dramatically harder for no
Yep.
discernible reason.
It's like, if you've ever played Sad Eggs, think about Sonic in that game, but just make him heavier.
Yes,
and that's
this game
what
feels
Adventure One
oddly
is.
heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I love it though. Like, I know it kind of sounds like I'm complaining, but to me, all these things are positives.
Mhm.
Sonic Adventure is a very difficult speed game. Like, there is no getting around that. But to me, just how brutally difficult Sonic Adventure is what gives it its charm to me. This game is so fun because once you get out of the reset zone, once you start like honing in and you start playing as good as you know you can, There really is no feeling like it. Being able to blast through this game and just know what you did, even if no one really understands just how freakishly difficult some stuff is. Knowing how hard it is to yourself and knowing that you were able to do that, there is no feeling quite like it.
Yeah, I don't think I've played a game in a while where it seriously rewards you for actually learning the game. You know, and getting good at everything. It's involved, like the movement and everything. I don't know. I have a special place with this game.
Yeah, there really is no speedrun quite like vanilla Sonic Adventure.
Nope. There's a lot.
There really is no sound quite like this either.
Nope. I'm just gonna mash start to get back into the game. Cause yeah.
Do you not?
Hmm?
Do you not mash start to get back in?
Not usually.
Really?
No.
I just do a pretty light double thumb mash on the start button. Oh yeah, just in case you weren't aware as well, third-party controllers for this game are banned, which means that you have to play this game with an original Dreamcast controller, which for me also is a positive because I love this thing.
It is so good.
But the start button is in a very odd place.
Just slap me in the middle. Oof. Okay. Can you get this one again? That looks good.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I got sideways. You can't lose any height. You have to do it perfect. That's good.
That good. Okay, cool.
Oh, no.
Okay, what we're trying. This is kind of the clip. When you say you were scared of it, this is why. Oh, you're trying this method.
Man.
Okay.
I tried the goob setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is difficult. Like there's no getting around it. Like Canada Clip is absurdly difficult.
Yeah, the re-go, what we said earlier on, you have to get above a wall. But if you go too high, the camera will start to rotate, and you lose input when the camera changes. And so you have to sort of compromise for that, which is not easy when it's constantly rotating. And that skips that cutscene.
That cutscene is so long though that believe me, we still saved like 3 minutes doing that.
Yeah, really did. It's really long.
There are easier methods of that, but Canada Clip is not only the coolest, but also the fastest.
Coolest, yeah, but I don't think it's the funniest. I still think the funniest goes to drowning.
It's definitely not the funniest.
Yeah, there is a pool of water behind the cutscene that you can walk into, drown as Sonic, and just walk forward. And that's still my favourite way to do that cutscene.
Whew.
Okay.
So what I went for there is there's a trick you can do to clip into the top of or into the side of that hut called breaking and entering, which requires 40 rings or more. Your speed in the cart is determined by how many rings you have. And I actually didn't get it, so I had to do a backup, which required a lot of extremely precise driving.
Yeah.
As my controls mirrored 3 times while I was in the air, and I still saved it.
Yeah. The weird thing about this game is that when you're in the car, if you jump in the air, you can turn for a bit, and then the controls just reverse. You have to go the other way, and then it might reverse again. It's like it's a whole thing, which eventually you get used to it. Like the whole feeling of it, you get used to. But even nowadays, it still kind of trips me up a bit.
102 Twinkle Park on a run's pretty good, even for me.
Yeah, I'd say 1-2 is good. Don't know what my
Doesn't that beat your ILPB?
probably does. Actually, I don't even know what my IOPB is, to be honest. I don't remember that stuff. Like if it, I'm sorry, you're right. If it ain't a 130, I've already forgotten my BB. I only have one true love.
That's true.
Ah, yeah. Time to grab a card, going to the speed highway. Yeah, I think if you're interested in playing the game, we do allow emulator on Flycast. So hey,
Yeah, we were mentioning this during the the whole Sonic Shuffle run that went on for 4 hours. You should have checked that out if you missed it. That run was fantastic.
I'll be honest, I caught that the last
During
2 hours.
the Shuffle run, we mentioned that only hardware is allowed for Sonic Shuffle, While that was the case for Sonic Adventure for a very long time, we now allow the Flycast emulator specifically, as well as GDEMU for anyone that wants to SD load the game. So if you're interested in giving this radically different version of the game a try, I'd highly suggest throwing it on and seeing if you like it or not.
Yeah, you can try it on Flycast, and then if you decide, like, oh, you know what, I'm actually buy Dreamcast to run on console, you can do that too.
I'm owned.
Nah, you're fine. You got it. Yep, I'm rolling here. We're gonna grab these Pichus. These Pichus do actually increase your speed. Like, you get about a second time save, so worth going for. But while going through Speed Highway, a pretty simple stage. We did a spin dash over earlier on. I probably should have mentioned that then. I didn't, but hey, here we go. We go for it. I think another thing we could mention, if you've been watching this and you're thinking, this game looks awesome, but I'm not a fan of the cutscenes, boy, do we have a code for you.
It's true. We actually have, I was going to mention this in a little bit, we have a tournament coming up in a couple of days at this point on the Say Service channel for Sonic Adventure CX. Now, what is Sonic Adventure CX, you might be asking? CX is a Lua script if you're on Flycast, or a codebreaker code if you're on hardware, which allows you to skip the cutscenes with the start button. It's not quite Sonic Adventure DX, but it's not quite really Sonic Adventure either. It adds a lot of weird, funny things to the game, like making you fight Chaos Zero twice. Also adds some jungle movement to Lost World before Sonic gets started in that stage. It's a really, really cool way to play the game, and I'm really excited for the tournament. So, oh wow, that's fun. I would really appreciate any support for that tournament, because that tournament is gonna be a huge showcase for our small little community. It's gonna be a turbo banger. It's gonna be a super fun watch.
It is, and seeing everyone that's been practicing and improving for it, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely come and drop by, give it a watch, maybe decide from there whether or not you think the game, see how CX looks and see what you think. But yeah, who's here for a history lesson? This cutscene here, this was the first ever cutscene skip we found. It has happened once, and I don't think anyone's done it since.
I've done it twice.
Really?
Yeah. I've done it, but that cutscene is not only the hardest cutscene in the entire game to skip, but also the slowest. By skipping that cutscene, because it still requires a death and an extra load, that cutscene skip, if done optimally, only saves about 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's really not as much as you'd expect. I mean, it's a bit more now, because now we time loadless, so it's a
True,
bit
I
better.
have not retimed it with loadless.
So I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it would have saved a bit more time, but I still don't know whether or not it's worth it just yet.
It's worth it for me.
Yeah, I feel it probably would actually, yeah. I feel like for most people it might not be worth it just yet, just because of how difficult it is to actually do it.
Absolutely, that cutscene skip is very hard.
Yeah.
That's a Final Frontier trick for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, there's options, there's different ways to do it, but trying to actually get it is another story. There we go. A little bit of whole board movement. Yeah, I can do words. Can he get decent movement? Okay.
We got lagless movement, but yeah.
You probably lost the time save from the beginning, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
So Sonic Adventure is really cool, and one of the big things about this game too is camera manipulation and lag manipulation are a huge part of the game. We have, especially in the Japanese version of the game, where we play, a lot of control over the camera outside of a few key instances. And one of the biggest parts of having so much control over the camera is constantly managing it. At all times during the run, I am manually adjusting the camera with the left and right trigger. With where they're at on the controller, it's fantastic. But you are going to be using the triggers so much.
Yeah, I feel like the thing with the camera in this game, eventually gets to a point where you're so used to it, you don't even notice you're doing it. Oh, ah,
So close.
that was very good, actually. Yeah, you can jump over the building, up the rock, and then just skip a little bit. But yeah, it's like, you spend so much time using the cameras in this game, eventually it just becomes second nature to constantly be turning them, moving around, making things line up the way you need them to. And okay, jump over here. And got any Resident Evil fans in the chat? Oof.
Yeah, that's what I like to call a Resident Evil camera switch there. As much like the older Resident Evil games, as soon as that camera switches, so do your controls. You have 0 frames. Literally, the frame the camera switches, you have to be ready for it, as that's when you are required to input a direction.
Yeah, because this game doesn't really do grace periods for camera turns and stuff. It's as soon as the camera turns, your controls have turned as well. But you can get used to it. It takes a little bit, but you know it is a consistent thing. Just takes a bit of practice. Doesn't mean it's going to become the easiest, most freeing thing in the world, but you know you can get used to it. Which, as you can see by how Wither just kind of went through with no issues there.
I got a little stuck in the beginning of Act 2, but overall, it was okay.
It was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of lag and frame rates in general, one other big thing about this game that you're going to notice that there's a giant change between SA1 and Static. This game does not run at 60 FPS.
Nope.
Outside of the title screen, the character select menu, and Twinkle Circuit, not during Twinkle Park, the individual Twinkle Circuit minigame, this game has a locked in quotation marks frame rate of 30 FPS. Why do I say in quotation marks? Well, depending on what regional variant of the game you're playing, the frame rate is actually pretty different. So on the Japanese original release, I believe I measured it to be around 31.4 FPS. The US and international release of the game runs at about 32 FPS, and PAL seems to be hard locked at 34.
Yep. Sounds about right.
I'm not exactly sure why the frame rate changed so much between each version, but I will say that is also partially what makes the Japanese version of the game a little bit tougher compared to the other versions as well. The Japanese version of the game is the fastest, but it is also the hardest. Deaths are more punishing on the Japanese version of the game because of the fade out and fade in and lack of control you have during them, between every death. Restarts just take longer, and you have a slightly lower frame rate with an identical tick rate, which means sometimes you have to do jumps in between frames, where the game will actually be registering your input but not drawing on screen. So there are 2 really important between frame jumps at top level. Outside of top level though, you can mostly ignore them. The biggest one that you're going to notice in top level is something called Banana Route, which is a task strat that's only really been implemented by me and Axel Thunder and ILs for the stage Lost World. Does anyone else do Banana Route? Does Broby do Banana Route?
I don't know actually. I think it introduced you and Axel. I don't know if Broby's tried it yet. I mean, I've tried it. Haven't hit it yet, but you know.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's really
it's
hard.
really hard.
So the reason it's called Banana Route is it's an adaptation of something that Nixer was attempting in a task a long time ago. He had a funny idea in Lost World, and I thought, hey, what if I take that funny idea and I make it even harder, and I start doing it in runs? And it just so happens to only work in SA1. It doesn't actually work in Status. And this isn't a me being bad moment. This is I've even tested it myself. It doesn't work.
Like it's such a thing though. It's such a flashy thing though. It looks so cool.
It does
like,
look really cool.
Really does.
If you hit even though it only saves like 6 seconds tops, if you hit first try Banana Route, oh, it's so swag. It's so cool. I will be going for it when we get to Lost World. You'll know it when you see it.
Oh, you'll know it. It does look cool. That's one of those things. If you hit it first time, you're popping off. That's just kind of how it is. It is so cool.
game in general is so cool. And like once you understand this game on a mechanical level, it really starts to highlight just how hard this game is and how far it's been pushed. I really do implore everybody, including people who have like given Static a try or maybe decide it's not their cup of tea, to go give Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast a try. Preferably on hardware, but emulator is acceptable. Just give the game a try and see how different it is. You'll be surprised. I know that I definitely was. We were talking about our history with the games and like when we started the run. I've grown up my entire life playing Statics, and I was shocked at how radically different Sonic Adventure felt compared to DX. Not to mention the lighting and texture changes, the art style is completely different. Just a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, just a bunch of weird things you wouldn't think about for when you're porting a game over. But yeah, honestly, I'm in the same boat. I spent most of my life playing Statics, and then when we came back and did SA1, I'm just like, wow, this is completely different.
It's so different. It's
It really
so
is.
cool.
You know, it's like, yeah, obviously we're saying the game is hard, and it is. Like, this game is not, like, this game's difficult. But I feel like the entry point is, it's not that bad. Like, we try to do everything we can to make the game as accessible as possible.
Sonic Adventure at this point is a very accessible game. We're more than happy to help everybody set up on emulator, which, definitely not the preferred way to play, just a way to do it.
Yeah.
I play on hardware. Most of the top level across the board plays on hardware. 130 is a category that's definitely better on hardware because of the VMU integration.
Yeah.
How many lives did I have left?
I don't know.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh, you're fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, but I skipped a very short cutscene actually. Still saved time.
Yeah, that cutscene skip is really, really tough. I've gotten really consistent at it out of necessity because that cutscene is really short.
Yeah. There are some cutscene skips where the setup and doing the skip itself, after so many attempts, it stops being worth it. That's one of those ones where if you don't get to I want to say the first 2 attempts, just watch the cutscenes.
Yeah, it's not worth it for some of them. Especially if you're the mid-level. A lot of the cutscenes, well, I say a lot, a handful of the cutscenes, it's honestly, it's better for you to just get used to watching the cutscene and just take the cutscene and then grind out the skip individually.
That right there is a cutscene that we will never skip, even if we find a skip for it. Because it is so short and the spawn location when you respawn is miles away. And this is Skydex. Okay, this is the point of the game we've got to where it is very possible for the game to decide, the A button press you just did? Never happened. There is a lot happening in Skydeck. So we can jump through, there's 3 different skyboxes or something, there's enemies everywhere. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of glide on through, hopefully. I don't know if we mentioned how the game ran at 30, there is a reason the game runs at 30. It is because there is too much stuff in the game. It can run at 60, if they wanted to, but there's just kind of stuck objects everywhere. It's the reason also SA2 is more of a hallway game, is so they can get away with the game running at 60 by rendering less objects. SA1 has things, they want to make the world as massive and interactive as possible, and so you end up in this situation where we have to run the game at 30. This is why Temple Circuit runs at 60, because it's a small circuit. Ooh. Got a nice note going back there. Fast capsule? Fast cannon? Okay. Yeah, that cannon always comes up at the same spot, but it's a very precise jump to get. And we've got Fast Try, let's go. That's actually a lot easier than it looks. Anything involving a loading transition, we can typically move through and take some advantage of that. Just because with loads being so long, we get plenty of time to prepare, jump, and your momentum kind of carries through. So we can just perfect Test Track, which lets us skip a checkpoint.
Yeah, a couple of mishaps on that sky deck. Pretty minor though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm happy with a Deathless 139 in a
Yeah.
marathon at least. Yeah, as Squeefy was saying, that stage very commonly drops to below 15 FPS, especially if you don't know where to point your camera.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, or you're just used to the stage always working, which, spoiler alert, doesn't. There's a huge point in time where your inputs will just cease to be eaten, or just cease to be taken.
Yep.
So I've had multiple instances where I'm trying to cross a pretty short gap, like it's nothing too crazy, and I just go for a homing attack cancel, which is when you press the homing attack button and then roll over to an action button, which would be X or B, and the game said, oh, I'll read the spin dash and jump cancel and kill you.
Yep.
But I won't read the homing attack. I actually think you're stupid for trying. And you know,
Yeah.
I realized at some point, maybe I am stupid for trying. I just don't anymore. I wouldn't save time with it, so why bother? Even if it's a force of habit, just get out of the habit, idiot. Don't homing attack cancel.
It's like, okay, cause the reason we homing attack cancel most places is because a homing attack cancel is faster than a normal homing attack. But it's not really fast if you're dying every time you do it though.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, I just do a normal homing attack, it's fine. It's much better to do a normal homing attack than save like a frame maybe.
I just remembered my estimate's 113. Oh god, am I gonna hit this?
Let's hope so. Oh, we got left. Yeah, you'll be fine, I reckon. First try capsule, we got
I
this.
think so.
Yeah, first try capsule.
I don't know, boss.
I don't know, just give him.
I'm gonna try my hardest. Oh, whoops, that's not doing
That ain't good.
I'm gonna hit him from here.
Infinite.
Yo, it's Walran. That was cool.
It's cool. I've been trying to get up there because there's an emblem up there. I've always been curious what would happen if I got the emblem during the gamma fight. Imagine going over estimate, so true. So, I'm pretty sure you made estimate for shuffle.
Yeah, you made it. You got there.
You got there.
You basically on estimate.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're watching Sonic and you're thinking, hey, you know what, it's a bit too fast, there's other characters. We have options, we have Tails.
True.
Tails has some cool movement.
There are other characters.
Tails, Amy. Amy's actually probably one of my favourites. Honestly, I reckon Amy's probably my second favourite behind Sonic in terms of, like, speedrun. You know, not including 130 obviously, but hey, you know, I'm weird. Everyone in this game controls completely different. There's some similarity between them that cross over, but everyone has their own completely different thing. So, you know, we're going to give them a shot, see what you think.
It's true. Despite being a Sonic runner in marathons most of the time, my main category is actually all stories. I don't run it a ton because it's a really long category, but
Yeah.
all stories is my baby. It's my favorite category for sure.
Get to run through everything in the game. Okay, Captain Quarters clip. There we go, nice.
Yeah, I do it a bit different than you. Once I get in, I jump cancel, so I just walk into the thing, because I somehow keep missing the trigger.
Oh, okay. I mean, I use the way I do it is just spin, not an aim for it.
Yeah, but that's hard. I just like jump canceling and walking in because it's easy.
I mean, I guess, like, I'm kind of used to the timing, so as soon as I clip, I'll sort of just hard turn left. But yeah, that skips us having to take a lightspeed dash. Which is good, because you may have noticed earlier on, which I should have pointed out when it happened, we didn't get the crystal ring. Because even though it makes you charge faster, it's actually slower to get it, so we just ignore it.
Picking up stuff in this game, like picking up upgrades, such as the crystal ring and the lightspeed shoes, is actually mad slow.
Yeah.
We have to grab the lightspeed shoes. And we have to grab the Lightspeed shoes only because of that stupid Kiki in front of Red Mountain. If we can figure out a way to get inside of Red Mountain, then we never have to use the Lightspeed dash.
We would never touch it. Because, yeah, the only reason we can't get around that Kiki outside Red Mountain is simply because the load zone behind that gate just doesn't exist until it's destroyed. If we get around it, problem solved.
We need to get some kind of SRM where we can respawn the monkey destruction switch and Sonic Story.
I've been wondering whether or not the idea, because I'm pretty sure Salix has a thing where like Chow can affect like data in the game, but they can't trigger it. I was wondering if like we can do the same thing. Could we put a Chow name in the VMU, put it in, and be like, oh look, credits. That'd be funny. I don't think it would work, but I can imagine. The game goes from an hour-long run to 5 minutes.
Alright, so while I won't be doing it here, this is our first instance of optional silly tech. Now, would you like to explain silly stuff?
Oh, I love silly stuff. Right, okay, so the name sounds weird. Don't worry, it will make sense in a second. When you charge with a spin dash, and you want to do a spin, which you do light dash, and you want to do a spin dash jump, you need to release a button to keep your spin dash charge and do a jump. It's like a whole thing. Like, imagine your hand looks like a pretzel. That's silly tech in general. So you hold, say you hold on the X button to charge with a spin dash. Spin dash is charged. You got a light speed dash. Awesome. Now you want to do a spin dash jump. So you got another button there. You got to now hold that button down. How do you jump? Let go of them for like a frame. It's not a frame, it's a bit longer than a frame. Did that sound confusing? Here it is.
Yeah, silly hopping is confusing.
But we call it silly hopping.
Hopping is awesome.
Because hey, if we didn't call it silly hopping, it would be called a light speed dash charge spin dash jump, which is way too long, and I'm not saying all that.
Yeah. Silly hop is a very funny name that at least we can, like, at least after explanation, we can all agree on what it is. I don't wanna go outside and be talking to somebody in real life and have to say light speed dash charge spin dash jump. And I don't care what acronym you give that, that's ridiculous. So we just call those silly hops. And like as Squeefy was explaining, the way you do it, the way I do it personally, there's a few different ways to do it.
There's a few different ways, yeah.
I curl my finger with my knuckle on the B button. I then charge my full spin dash to the light speed dash with the X button. Once I've got my light speed dash charge ready, I then tap the B button I just tap the B button once, I don't hold it, while still holding the X button to get the spin dash to begin charging. I then release the X button and repress it for 1 frame. Or repress it in 1 frame. There's a 1 frame window to release and repress, which allows you to release the charge of the spin dash without releasing the light speed dash. You then throw in an A button to that, and just there you go. You got a light speed dash charge spin dash jump, which we call silly hopping.
Because there's certain alphabet spaghetti that I'm not a big fan of. That's just a lot of words.
And banana route, which is again a modified version of a task strat, uses a silly hop, which I'll be trying to showcase here.
Which we can hope for. It does look cool. So hopefully we get it. So first we've got to go through here. I've got to go through the fire tunnel, which comes in just a second. Fire tunnel is just pure RNG. There's not much, you're just gonna go for and hope. But oh, it's good though. Okay, maybe not. The fire tunnel strikes again.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my tunnels right now are not looking too great.
Yeah, I need fine to be fair. Then you I'm gonna go for a snake skip. Press the button, do a spin dash hover to get over here. When you jump up here, and then clip through that corner. I say clip, more just kind of go around the door. And this is where we get to approach banana route. And do what's called a light glitch. And it just makes the room illuminate. And we lost it. Okay, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Alright, we're owned there.
That's very unfortunate.
A lot of things happen.
A lot of things happen.
Once I lost the lighting glitch and the fog came back down, the frame rate dropped a lot and I started getting eaten.
Yeah.
So that was rough.
essentially we jump up to activate the light, and then if you position properly, the light will just stay up for us. You see where you're going. Okay, line up the banana route. Then charge with a light speed dash. The camera's fighting us. The camera will fight you constantly, you know. That looks good. That was great. Actually, that looks perfect.
Yeah, that was a perfect banana route.
That was a perfect one.
With a funny little mishap, with a little death there, but you know, we move.
The mouse skip? Mouse skip? No? Okay.
No.
No, that's a slightly altered version of what's called low skip in DX, where we can jump for a wall to essentially skip through to the end of the stage. However, it is very precise, as in you have like barely a pixel's worth of movement and like a frame to jump. To do a spin, to do a silly hop. It looks cool as hell. I don't expect to see anyone doing it in a long time. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, Lamau Skip is the single hardest trick in the game, and across with the extra lag it adds, extra time of setup, and everything, it will save about 1.5 seconds.
Yep.
It is so far the single most difficult thing we could ever do, and that's with me already implementing a task strat. This stage, the end game of Lost World, is one of the most insane, technically demanding, and execution-heavy stages I have ever seen in a speed game. It is so cool. I love Lost World. This stage is so cool.
So I've said it before whenever we've done like other marathons and stuff, but this Lost World is a skill check. Because you can
100%. It's the star test at the end of the year. It's the pop quiz before you graduate. Like
100%. Like it has everything. Like it has, you got your movement, your spin dash hovers, silly hops. Like everything is there. So when you start wanting to run at top level, you're gonna need everything, every little bit you can get. I love stuff. Lost World so much. It's so cool. But we're coming up to the end here. Just got, the cutscene bonanza, cutscene boogaloo, the I don't know. I'm trying to think of words. I can't think of any. Cutscene explosion. Actually, I don't think I ever asked. What's your opinion of this game's story? Because I would have been kind of curious. Personally, I'm kind of like, oh. As a kid, I thought it was like the greatest thing ever. But then I grow up and I'm like, you know what? Kind of funny. And we all know, exiting red filter land.
Okay, so I just really quickly ran to the bathroom because I absolutely need to not be distracted for this.
Yep, that
I'm back now.
is reasonable. Okay. Yeah.
Thank goodness for that cutscene.
Yeah, we have. We have a trick coming up, which probably one of the. If anyone ever points out a Dreamcast trick, this is probably going to be the first one they will point out. And that trick is pressing these buttons in the correct order. Right? Yep. Nope.
Oh,
nope. Never mind. Run dead. Okay, reset.
True. Yeah, this is the quintessential SA1 trick. Not in SATX, not in any release, just in SA1. It is the final egg capsule.
So we explained silly hops earlier on, and silly hops are what we're going to use to get up here, jump over. That looks so close.
That was very close. Yeah, so not only is that capsule extremely hard to get to with 3 individual frame perfect inputs, you also have to get the distance.
Get over, because where the capsule actually isn't where its collision is. It's not lined up properly. And so you have to go slightly beyond what the actual model looks like slightly past it and like up left a little bit. But then you still have to actually jump on the textured capsule part to trigger it. So I'm gonna go for another one here. There we go.
That'll
Nice.
work.
Nice. Let's go.
As you can see, I'm actually like off the capsule.
Yeah.
I hit the collision that triggers the capsule and then tripped and fell onto the real floor, which is again not aligned with the capsule. I drew a big diagram of it, and whenever I did a tutorial for it, and that's really the only visual reference we have. So if you check my tutorial, which is on my YouTube channel, for that trick in specific, near the end of the video you can see a diagram I drew in MS Paint of where the collision actually is.
Yeah, something interesting about that MS Paint capsule drawing he did, right, is we actually looked at the collision, because we have collision viewers for SA1, and he was so precise with it, it's actually hilarious.
Yeah, I was dead on.
Like, dead on.
I had done well over 300 attempts of the trick. I'd spent well over like 20 hours on just that trick at that point. So I felt like I had a pretty good idea of how the collision on the capsule worked. And once we finally got a collision viewer working and looked at the capsule, I was 1-to-1.
Like,
which is nuts.
So close. It was like so exact. I'm just like, wow. You don't need a collision viewer. We've got Wither to do it for us.
There's a lot of stuff I definitely don't know. I gotta say, while we're doing Egg Viper and wrapping up, while I have done a lot for this game personally, and I've put a lot of my own time, blood, sweat, and tears into getting Sonic Adventure to the place it is today, I absolutely could not have done any of it alone. Sweepy, you've been quintessential to this game in so many ways. From labbing out cutscene skips to creating codebreaker codes to doing so much in the back end to keep this game alive. There's only so much I can do alone, and I gotta say, the community that's been behind me the whole way has made the journey so much easier.
Honestly, I guess KZ Ninja might as well give some shout-outs, I guess. In general, the S1 community in general is just amazing. Like, everyone that's come around, like, the more the community grows, the more people show up and just finding so much new stuff, like, must include finding Disney Fast Pass, Venom, finding, yeah, I'm not gonna name it.
Penis Smasher.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I could name that one.
It's called Penis Smasher,
yeah.
It's true.
Like, so much stuff has been found from people just being interested in the game. Honestly, the way how much the game has grown is just so awesome. I love it. It's so cool.
It's true, Sonic Adventure, despite being released in 1998, didn't really have a true scene that gave the game the attention it deserves in 2020. And of course, we gotta give a shout out to the real founders of the game, Broby and Icky, who were running this game and actually giving it the effort and care it deserved well before anybody else really turned around on it.
Yeah.
What? I'm getting owned? What's happening?
Am I playing this game? I don't think I'm playing this game.
No! I'm hitting the quick hits and then the camera's like, actually, die.
And you're still going
okay.
for risky hits, okay, sure. Yes. Egg Viper is a very consistent boss you can get used to, but then, sometimes you kind of think like, I'm gonna play it a bit risky. And then the game goes, you're playing it too risky. It's time to stop. See, you can...
There we go.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Just that a few more times.
Yeah, just be better, don't die. It's that simple.
Yeah, just be better.
And there we go. There's just one more of those, and then we've got the spinny tops.
I like to play the last hit a bit safe to get the other two.
I mean, I play the last hit safe. The ones that don't. That's my problem.
So I'll be. Should I play it safe? No.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking about quick hitting him, but I decided, yeah, I might as well.
You know what? Why not?
It's easy.
It is easy, except when going for fast stops. Okay.
Tikal, shut up. I know how to bite. I know how to bite the guy.
Think with the end here. There's a couple more hits, and then it will be time when the in-game timer stops or when Egg Viper explodes in the explosion.
Yeah, so Eggman is going to erupt into a ball of fire, and once the pillars of fire are on screen and the in-game timer stops, that will be time. Look at that, we were underestimated.
Let's go. Underestimate.
All the Dreamcast runners are underestimated. Would expect nothing less.
Dreamcast runners, they're just the goats of the world. Let's go.
And time. 2669 every time.
Hey guy.
That's the frame you want to see. 109.38. Gonna toot my own horn again, you know, real quick. There was a period of time not that long ago, in the grand scheme of things, where a sub 110 was theoretically impossible. And the game has been pushed so far that I'm not even impressed by that anymore. And you know what? That is cool. That's really, really cool. The fact that we can get 110s and it's just another day at the park. It's so cool. It's so cool how far this game has been pushed. And once again, I could not have pushed this game nearly as far in Sonic Story without Broby directly on my tail, forcing me to get better, and the community support I've got behind me. So thank you so much, SSC, for having us and showcasing our tiny little pocket of the Sonic Adventure community. And yeah, check out the tournament soon.
Uh.